Amatole Funerals does it again. It is the Dundee July experience where we are dressed in our black and making sure we are looking cream of the crop.
What up, everybody? My name is Galson Anthony, the best to ever do it. And guess what I got in studio? The Canon C400. Now I'm gonna do a little disclaimer because I know there's a whole bunch of keyboard warriors that are always complaining about things. Yes, I'm in the Canon office. That's why I got this thing in the background and a whole bunch of Canon cameras in the back. But no, Canon did not pay me to do this content right here. I just actually hijacked them as I was going from one province to the other, stopped at the headquarters. I'm like, look, thanks for the camera, I'm bringing it back, but I just want to do like a little quick review in your studios. Are you cool with that? And they said, cool. So let's get straight to it.
Welcome to Dundee July Experience 2024. Mwah, baby! We are finally here at the Amatole Funerals Dundee July Experience 2024.
Now, there's a whole lot of creative content producers that are on the internet talking to you about the specs of this camera, so I'm not going to go through all that. But it is a 6K 60 spec, and the biggest selling point of this camera so far seems to be the triple base ISO, which is at 800. And I could tell you, somebody that uses this camera for a whole week, that the 3200 and 12,800 shooting in RAW is actually pretty clean. There was very few situations where I ever needed to use 12,800, but as I was testing it, hey, it does work. And as for 3200, tell me what you think. Now, fair enough, there was a whole bunch of light in the background, but the backside illuminator sensor does help in some instances more than the DGO. As someone who's used the C300 and the C70, I could tell you that it has a little bit of an advantage as far as dynamic range in this instant. Hey, granted, it is a full frame sensor as compared to the others, so it does give you extra light where needed. The autofocus on the C400 is actually phenomenal. It's better than the C70, C300 Mark III, and C500. As a matter of fact, the way I see it is that the C300 and the C70 really did struggle in the nighttime or in the dark or low lit situation when it came to focusing, and sometimes it would throw you off a little bit. This did a whole lot better, so I can definitely say it's one generation ahead as far as autofocus is concerned. I did have trouble here and there where it did throw it off a little bit, but going to a 12,800 ISO gives you that well-lit situation where it's not very noisy on RAW and you can still autofocus pretty good. So that's a one-up for the Canon. So where does this camera stand in my opinion? Well, I could tell you that Canon has become a whole lot less stubborn as far as creating their cameras, and they've punched in a lot in this little thing over here. I don't really have big hands, and look at that, really small, and it does pack a punch. This thing is superior than the C500 Mark II. Now, Canon has said they're not intending to replace the C500 nor the C300 Mark III, but yeah, this actually kind of makes it obsolete for them. But pricing, it is cheaper than the C300 Mark III when it came out, if I'm not mistaken, because I bought it for $10,000 when it came out. This is $8,000, $8,000 with an RF mount. You ain't got to get a converter. So as far as I'm concerned, this should be Canon's flagship until they come out with a C600 or C700 Mark IV, or wherever they are with that is concerned. Now, let me speak about the things I don't really like about this camera. See this thing over here? I'm gonna take off this. I don't like it. Canon could do better. See this handle here? It's annoying. Now, when you're filming with this, see that? That's irritating as hell. You know, it just really tight and whatnot. And sometimes when you're holding the camera and you might be tilting it like this because this monitor over here is tilting that way. Look, Canon, y'all could do better with this. Like, it's really, really annoying. As a matter of fact, I want to try to take this thing out so you can see this. Okay, this is taking long. The camera is a little bit smaller than the C300, which I believe it might be a successor of, or kind of even a successor of the C500. Just the naming system seems unconventional and pretty tricky for me. I do believe it is a better camera than the C500. As I've been an owner of C300 Mark III and used the C500 a couple of times, this camera does edge them out dynamic range-wise. Size-wise, it is a bit lighter, but not, this thing is the heavy one. So this is not too bad heavy. Canon, not liking this very much. What is the advantage of having one of these as opposed to having a C300 Mark III, just in case you do decide to change? Well, here's a short story. Firstly, it is the full frame. You get a lot of light and a lot of depth of field. It's a world of a difference for me since I was using the C300 Mark III to get into the C400. It is really a world of a difference. Dynamic range is wildly different. Although the DJO sensor says that it's 16 stops, there's something about this 16 stop that is better than the 16 stop of the C70 and the C300 Mark III. The triple base ISO, especially the 12,800 ISO, in case you want to do some filming in some place where you don't have much light, this is your guy. You really can do good. The RF mount, as well as the fact that it's a whole lot smaller. Wait, it's not even a whole lot smaller. It's 10% smaller. Does it make a difference? A little bit. Yeah, I do get a little bit of back pains, but it is a little bit of an advantage that is slightly smaller. I wish it was a whole lot smaller. Canon does market it as smaller than the C500 II and the C300 Mark III, 10% smaller. I wish it was maybe 30% smaller, maybe lighter. Yeah, because this thing does bring back pains. My other wish list is, y'all could really redesign this. I know Canon is a camera company, but if y'all could just take a page out of Small Rig where they have like a better handle and whatnot, and they kind of have the screen maybe mounted here at the top, or even have the screen mounted at the top here, right here at the top, right in the front part of it, that would have been dope. I also wish Canon could bring out the C-Log 4. That would be a really great welcome addition to it. Maybe expanding the dynamic range of the camera, maybe pushing it from 16 point something to 17 point something on the C-Log 4, if that is a new firmware we can get. I also wish that it was a 14-bit if you were on 6K RAW as opposed to 12-bit. I mean, 12-bit is great, but 16-bit, having that extra color, hey, it could be definitely a welcome.
Thank you for coming to our studios. Thank you for testing the C400 out. Just to put it into perspective, this is one of the only units in the whole country at the moment. So it's only starting in September.
Yep.
So we're very, giving you a chance to get it in your hands. I think that's the most important thing here. I heard Galston speaking a lot about specs. And, I think this is really, for me, the first cinema camera that we've brought out that is really doing well online. A lot of our previous cameras had a lot of things that would really hinder them. This is the first time we've released a high-end cinema camera that's really going to change the game in the market. It's one of our most versatile cameras, and I'm referring to it as the Swiss Army knife of cinema tools.
Yep.
For its price point and what it's offering, we're really excited about the C400. Now, I know you got into the specs. You're a very a specky guy. You got all that in your head. But sometimes you also have to look at that creative aspect. What are you using the camera for? And that's where Canon does really well. Your documentaries, medium range film, cinema, how creative can you be with the camera? Well, that's in the user's hands, right? So with all the specs aside, I think the image that you're going to get out of this, that Canon natural color and skin tone, the high resolution you're getting in the different codecs, I mean, that's what we're really excited about. So Galston, what did you shoot with the camera in the last 5 days?
Well, firstly, I hijacked the spot, right? He was sitting in the background, he actually just got into the studio and then boom. So let's just put that out there. But yeah, it is a Swiss Army knife, and you guys did sell me the C300 Mark III, and I've used that a couple of years, and I can't say that it is a welcome addition to it. But can I ask a couple questions?
Let's go.
Why don't we have Canon C-Log 4 yet?
So that type of technology that they have to develop, it takes a long time. And the human eye can only see up to about 20 stops of dynamic range. So, when we talk about 16 stops, that's a massive color gamut.
It is good.
So, upping your kind of log range, it is a thing that takes a lot of time. Even your Arri Lexus, your 35s, I mean, they're also only going up to about 16 stops of dynamic range. So, in terms of the technology and where we are, I think, they have to put everything into perspective. The cost to manufacture this, the kind of manpower behind the technology. And remember, even though they have satellites in space that can do 1,000 terabyte downlinks, it doesn't mean that the average person will get it, right?
Right.
We are lucky at Canon where we have the machine that manufactures our very own sensors. So that's quite a big deal for us.
Speaking about sensors, I mean, you have the DJO C300 Mark III, because I'm gonna see this as a successor of a C300 Mark III as opposed to a C500 Mark II. And y'all made it a Super 35 DJO, and it was $10,000 when I purchased it. In South African rands, that would be 250,000, 230,000. I remember buying it for that price. And you got this at cheaper. What changed that you could make a camera better but cheaper?
So the whole thing is America. So the USA often, America. They do have a lot of influence in terms of what gets output into the market, and we started to realize that We don't do an A cam. You know, we did the C700 and we kind of dropped that. You could even change the menu to ARRI, but the A cam game wasn't for us. The documentary style B cameras, we've just really succeeded with them so well. Back to your previous question as well, Log4. Remember, we've only been making cinema cameras for about 10 years. We had our 10th year anniversary a year ago. So
I was not invited.
You know, well, we didn't really do much here, but okay.
Yeah.
So, you know, with that in mind, you know, price point is important. We understand that, you know, coming out at over, you know, $10,000 would definitely create a little bit of hesitation in the market. And that's a great thing as a company to try and, you know, we've made mini XLR, we've made mini DIN return on the camera. We've tried to add in everything in one go in the most cost-effective way possible. And I think that our retail launch price of 179,000 Rand really hits the sweet spot for guys that are doing high-end productions, live productions, as well as maybe some of our users that were contemplating the C70 like yourself, which was 130,000 Rand when
in the
it first
beginning
came
when
out.
it came out,
Yeah.
right? It was the price
So,
of basically this when it came out.
So then you kind of look at it and you think, well, okay, this is an absolute monster compared to that. So yeah, Galston, price is always a complicated matter, but we really try and make sure that we're offering our end users and partners as much of an advantage as possible.
Speaking of advantage as possible, can you please tell me why did y'all not add IBIS in here?
All right. So
we needed that.
No, so typically this kind of camera, the shape and style, if you look at any of your very high-end cinema cameras, your Reds, your ARRIs, your Phantoms, any of your camera that goes beyond a DSLR size, IBIS is actually a massive disadvantage in terms of jelloing. Now, these cameras are built to rig. So you've got your steady cam, you've got your crane, you've got your DP that's going to put it into the car, rigged up onto a trial, wherever it's going to go, it's going to be rigged.
Right.
So what happens with IBIS, your sensor is kind of floating, right?
Right.
So if you've got this camera rigged with IBIS, even though you deactivate IBIS, you still will have a jello effect on your film. And you do not want that if you're shooting in a high-end environment where you do not want any kind of artifacting or jello effect. So that's it in a nutshell. There's a much deeper conversation, but in a nutshell, IBIS is really made for your handheld style camera, like a DSLR or mirrorless, that you do want to do some of that close run and gun stuff. Yes, it's a nice feature to have, but with our combination IS, you get up to 8 stops of stabilization. So never underestimate the digital IS with a RF lens and the new RF mount. The digital stabilization is actually very good.
It's good.
It is something you need to work with and get used to.
Now that you mentioned that, I don't know if this can be said now. So I did try out this
yes, this
35.
is our brand new 35 VCM.
It's dope, but I had to take time to get used to it because, you know, having the iris deactivated on the camera and then you had to use it here kind of like threw me off. But then later on, I did get to enjoy it. 35 is this one. 50 might be coming, right? 85. Can I? Is there something? Can I say? Could you confirm it or not? Because that would be really nice to have one of these as opposed to just one.
So you know, I think the mindset behind this lens, it's a very specialized type of lens. You can see it in your hand there, Galston. Small, compact. It's a VCM voice cord motor, great for minimizing, you know, focus racking, negative focus racking effects. And you know, it's small, compact, and lightweight. And that on a gimbal, handheld. Once you've removed the whole top handle and mounted your LCD straight onto the camera, it starts becoming a lot more doable. Now, if you do have different focal lengths in the same weight and size, you know immediately you don't need to rebalance your gimbal. So hopefully. Now, speaking about this, could y'all speak to Canon about, no, come on. All right.
Man.
So this is a completely redesigned LCD.
Yeah, it is better than the previous one,
Sure.
yes. However, it's just weird. I was wondering why didn't y'all get one of those that is like, you could have the screen pop up to here. I did see someone online do it. Do you?
Yeah, so this actually, so you'll notice you've got a 1/4 inch thread over there.
Right.
And you've got a 1/4 inch thread over there. So you can remove that and you can mount the screen straight
Directly
onto
on
there,
it.
Directly onto there.
So it's my fault I didn't get it right.
Correct.
Damn it.
Well, it's okay, Gustin.
Yeah.
You only had the camera for 5 days, so you know you didn't. You know.
I didn't
when you do get your unit, then you'll have it a lot longer, right? So the screen, it's been designed that you've got a little 50mm rod over there. So once it's on there, you can have the LCD on either side. You can move it up and down. It was really just made to be more versatile than the 12-pin previous LCD models.
Right.
Okay. Super strong, super versatile, but because it's USB-C, it opens up a world of third-party accessories, other products you can use with this.
That is a welcome addition, I must admit.
Yeah. So the USB-C on the LCD and on the hand grip means your Rosetta hand grip can be mounted with a further distance from the camera body because you can just get a longer USB-C cable.
Right. Okay, and this hot shoe, I haven't tried it out.
Sure.
Is it like a hot shoe
yes,
type
it's a hot shoe, so
right.
no longer a cold shoe.
Right.
Because it does have the active multi-pin connectors.
They call it
there from
MI
Canon.
shoe?
Yeah, multi-function shoe.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And when you put the top handle on, it obviously moves the
Communicates
signal from there to the top.
Gotcha.
So you've got it on both sides. And that just also opens up, well, we've got the Tascam XLR unit, which you can plug onto there. We have a bunch of different Canon products that actually work in unison with that. And, you know, it just opens up a world of future connectivity.
Speaking of which, the Tascam, which you already have the mini XLRs here, I mean, you have the Tascam that would have 2 more channels.
Would have full
Would you
XLR.
have all 4 channels coming straight into the camera separately?
So the Tascam would control 2 of the channels, and the camera will control. The camera can control multiple channels up to 4, because remember,
4,
it still
yeah.
has mini jack and that on board. So yes, it would all be controllable through the camera. But as we know with audio, there's nothing better than a sound disc.
Having it run separately. Okay.
Sure.
Thank you for your time on this. And he did hijack this place, but hey, we got some answers probably you were asking yourself while we were running through this, and we appreciate that. One last thing, having this for like a little bit longer than 5 days, maybe 5 years would be great.
Well, that's where you got to buy one, Gaston.
Thank you so much. Now, I may have left a lot of information out because of the rush of filming real quickly and being up out of here, but as a user of this camera, I am impressed. And although I am sort of kind of selling Canon and saying, hey, go for this camera, I am also saying that there's things that could be improved. So Canon, hopefully you're listening. I hope this Canon here in this branch is telling the Canon, you know, global that they need to fix certain things in case it's a Canon C70 version of this camera comes out, or if they have a C600 with an 8K sensor, whatever sort that's going to come out. Canon, put some of those improvements in, especially this thing. I'm not liking this thing one little bit, okay? And if there's anything else that I'm missing that I forgot to say, please hit it in the comments. I might do another video. Yes, I know I've not done videos in a really long time. I've been busy. But hey, hit me up. Tell me what it is you want to know more about the camera, any questions, and I shall be the first one to answer them. Until then, peace out.